Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make an Ihop. If you have any suggestions on what I should make next, please leave a comment down below. What should I build? Should it be a real world build like this one? Something from a cartoon, video game, movie? Let me know down there in the comment section. This is the amount of space required to make Ihop, and here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Begin by placing 8 bricks in a row on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Extend forwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Dig in the ground to the right by 1. And then place an oak plank inside of that empty space. On top of that, place an oak door, and then right of the door place 4 bricks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dig 1 row to the right, replace it with an oak plank, and on top of that place an oak door. Right of that, place a brick, and then extend backwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then extend to the right by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then extend backwards by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We then want to extend across the back of the build by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend inwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then simply extend over to the right and join all the way back to where we very first started. We are now going to remove all of the grass block inside of Ihop. Next, we are going to fill different parts of Ihop in with different materials. For instance, this back area we will fill in with stone. Then we will fill everything in front of the stone in using oak planks. We will then take the remaining empty space and fill it in with brown wool. Next, come all the way back to where we first started and place a quartz pillar on top of this brick. Right of this, place 2 black stained glass pane, then place a quartz pillar, 2 glass pane, 2 quartz pillar, and extend forwards like this. Then we want to place a quartz pillar inside of each one of our doors with black stained glass pane in between the quartz pillar. Quartz pillar extending along the door to the back part of the Ihop. We then want to place a quartz pillar here extending right 2 black stained glass pane, quartz pillar, 2 black stained glass pane, and a quartz pillar. We then want to place an additional quartz pillar on top of every pillar that we have placed so far, and then an additional row of glass in between all of the pillars. We also want to place quartz pillar on top of each one of our doors, and we have to be careful to keep the quartz pillar vertical. It's easy to just place it like this way and it will just look weird. Okay, next we are going to place a row of oak planks on top of the entrance area, left to right. We then want to extend the first 2 oak planks on the left and right forwards, with blue concrete in between, extend up a row, and then we want to place oak planks progressively on top of each row to create a triangular shape, which we then want to place string underneath most of the triangle. We just want to leave the left and right blocks alone. Extend the string forwards and then place blue carpet to create a little bit of an overhang. So now that we have done this, we can now move on to the sides of the build. So on the right side of the build, for instance, we want to place a quartz pillar here on the back corner, and then 2 glass extending inwards, 1, 2, 3 quartz pillar, 1, 2, 3, extending towards the front, and then 2 glass extending inwards, which we will then place an additional quartz pillar on top of each quartz pillar. And then it might be a little bit easier actually to just simply place oak planks all the way along the sides of the build that we have kind of like finished with the quartz pillar and the glass. Extend it all the way along, and now that we have a row of oak planks that extends from the entrance, we simply just want to place rows and rows of oak planks on top of this that are just 1 block shorter each time until we eventually reach the top. So the top is a little bit untraditional in the fact that we could place an additional oak plank here at the top, but we're not going to do that because we want the side to match the front. You can see the heights are equal. And we actually want to do the exact same thing that we did over there all the way over here as well. So we'll place a quartz pillar on the back, 2 glass extending in, 3 quartz pillar extending forwards, and then 2 glass pane. Extend all of the pillars and all of the glass up. Extend the row of oak planks from the front around the side towards the back, just like this, and then add the slowly shrinking rows of oak planks until we eventually are left with just 3. Which leads us onto the back. So on the back, on the left and right sides, we want to kind of copy the window structure that we have on the front. So this means 2 rows of glass, a quartz pillar, 2 rows of glass, 2 quartz pillar. We extend the pillars up with the glass pane as well, and then we simply extend the planks across just like this. And we do the same thing on the opposite side. So I'm just going to preemptively place all of that glass there, pillars either side and in between, and then we'll extend everything up and extend the oak planks across the top as well. So it's a little bit easier on the back. We are going to match the window that we have on the front of the build. So window right here, just like this, right in the middle. We then simply just want to extend our quartz pillar back and towards the center where we have the window. And then we are going to place oak planks along the top of this. And this is where things start to get a little bit different. So we can start making the roof now. Okay, the roof. So we are going to start at the front center of the build, and we will begin by placing dark prismarine stairs extending all the way along the sides of the triangular shape that we made earlier. It's a little bit more complicated than that though, because the overhanging part of this roof is made using mangrove stairs, and we want to add upside down mangrove stairs underneath the overhanging row of stairs like this. But it gets a little bit more complicated. We then want to place mangrove slabs underneath these stairs, and these will kind of just extend all the way around the build. So what we will then do is extend the dark prismarine stairs along to the sides. the sides will come all the way up to the top. We will match the height, but we then want to place a dark prismarine made by placing 2 slabs on top of each other with a back of prismarine stairs. So the side roof looks like this, and you can see how it connects to the main roof. So we will want to create an overhanging row of mangrove on the sides of the build, just like this. And in addition to that, we will want to have the mangrove slabs that persist throughout the entire build. We will probably replace some of these oak planks. We won't be able to have that on the back. You'll see why. Or, well, we might be able to. We'll discuss it when we get there. But importantly, we want to place the upside down stairs underneath this overhanging part, just like this. And you'll be able to see it's going to look really good. I think that it's probably easiest to make the hardest part of the roof first, which is just kind of like outlining all of the prismarine that we will have. And we will complete the front half of the roof, and then we will move on to the back, and we'll make sure that everything blends together rather nicely. It's not really that complicated, it is just a little bit more fancy than we would typically make. But it's a really cool roof, I think, especially with it being two-tone. But we want to, of course, add the upside down stairs underneath the overhanging row on this side, and we will add the mangrove slabs underneath this, and of course these will just spread all the way across the back and they will connect together, and it will just look really, really cool. So now we have made kind of like the sides of all of the roof, or at least on the front of the build. We are now just going to connect the dark prismarine stairs together. So just focus on one side first of all, and then move over to the opposite side. Everything's the same height, so it doesn't really get too crazy in connecting everything together. Everything kind of logically just ends up where it's supposed to go. Moving on to the other side now. Okay, that's looking really cool now. So we will now move on to the back, where things get a tad more complicated, but not that complicated. So we'll first of all extend the prismarine stairs all the way along the top of the mangrove slabs like this, right? We will then add another row of dark prismarine stairs just on top of the oak planks, just like this. But now this is where things get a little bit different. Now we will simply extend one side of the roof all the way across and connect to the opposite side of the roof. So this is where things are going to separate. So now you'll see that we are left with this, and all we are going to do is fill this in with... Would it look... Okay, the original plan was to place prismarine slabs, but would it be... Or would it look better and be a bit more thematical using the mangrove slabs? I actually think that the mangrove slabs look a little bit better. So I'm actually going to keep those, and then we will simply just connect, or attempt to connect, all of the remaining prismarine stairs together. And then all the way at the very top. This would be a lot easier if I actually had like a prismarine block. It'd probably save time. Even now, if I grabbed it, it would still save me time. All the way up until, well, right about now. We have filled the top of this in with the prismarine. And now we are just going to head inside and work on the inside just a little bit before we head back outside. These are structural things. Okay, so this back area is going to be a kitchen. We are simply just going to extend a row of bricks across the back here. We are going to leave these 2 blocks alone, and then we will build up quartz pillar up like this in rows of 2, extend a row of oak planks across the top, and then this will be filled in using dark prismarine. We'll also reduce the amount of space here by placing just a couple of quartz pillar like this. So we will also place one here as well, and that is the entrance into the kitchen. So with that done, we are going to focus on the front here. We are going to fill this area in here with oak planks, and then we will add a couple of sea lanterns here for light. The reason that we have done this is because we are simply just going to place upside down dark prismarine stairs underneath the roof line inside of Ihop. It's going to look really cool. Instead of just being like a normal boring flat roof, things are just a lot more interesting. So it will give us this kind of like nice high roof feel. It won't feel too cramped in here. And now that we have made the kitchen on the back, we can also do the exact same thing across the back as well. We do have to interrupt a little bit of these stairs, but we will probably just take care of that when we come back in. But that's perfect. So a little bit more of the layout is well laid out. And now we can just head back outside. We're good. There we go. We can head back outside and we can finish the exterior. First things first, we are going to remove all of the grass and grid in between the area of the entrance and replace it with smooth stone. Like this. We are then going to place a composter on the insides of both doors and fill said composter until we get the gravel effect like I just heard on that side, and there we go, that side too. We'll then place flower pots with ferns on top of the composters. We'll place lanterns here next to the entrance as well on both sides. Then we are going to remove the first row in front of the windows on the left and right sides, replace it with podzol, and then we will place azaleas every other block. So on the left side and the right side. We will then remove all of the area in front of the podzol leading out to the edge of the grid. We will then place car parking spaces. First of all, a row of white concrete powder extending from the center azalea with grey concrete in all of the empty space on both sides. There we go, nice and simple. So we'll do this on the right, and we will now move over to the left and do the exact same thing. So remove everything, white concrete powder straight through the middle, cutting everything in half, and then grey concrete to fill in all of the remaining empty space, which will give us this. That looks fantastic. I almost don't want to add a wall around this, which is what I was going to do next, but I think it looks better without the wall. Let's add the wall. Okay, so the wall is going to sit along the outside of the grid. It's going to hug the Ihop all the way around, and we are just going to end in the same place on the right as we did the left. The part that I don't like about this is it leaves kind of weird, goofy areas, and what we could do actually is turn these into car parking spaces for the back, and you could even add, say, a side entrance for employees. You could even remove some of the wall entirely. We're going off the top of my head now, guys. So we could remove some of the wall entirely. Okay, let's grab what we would need. So the plan would be to remove this area here, just around the side of the center, and replace all of this with smooth stone. So this is a footpath now. We'll stick a door here on the side. So this is the kitchen anyway. There's nothing on that wall. And then we have two areas of free, which can be separated with a row of white concrete powder, and then occupy the rest with grey concrete powder. And then we have kind of like an employee car park. This could also just be more customer parking. It would then make more sense to then have pathway around the outside of Ihop. I think that this is a little bit better use of the space. It also, it's just a perfect amount of space required to do this, so that's why I decided to do it. I didn't plan to do this at the start of the build, guys. It was just going to be that wall, but that is the fun of never being satisfied. Last thing we have to add for the outside of Ihop is the sign. So throw down loom, open it up, place a blue banner in there with some white dye. The first letter we have to make is I, my favourite letter. That's the pale pattern. Next is H, so we go pale dexter, pale sinister, and fess. Next is O, Pale Dexter, Pale Sinister, Chief, Base. Perfect. Last is the dreaded P. So, Pale Sinister, put blue dye in there, apply the Perfess inverted pattern, white dye back in, Fess, Pale Dexter, Chief, there we have Ihop. Perfect. So we simply just apply this to the blue concrete just above the entrance. This is looking fantastic. And we have to do this on the inside as well. So we will do a cinematic third-person view walk inside of the build, and we will apply it to this wall. So it actually wants to go pretty much where it is on the outside. It wants to go on the inside. So it will be, I want to say right about here. We just want to remove part of that roof, add 2 rows of blue concrete to concrete to facilitate this, and there we go. Boom. Ihop. The only thing that I don't like about this is it's not symmetrical. So if we were to place another pillar here, then it would be nice and symmetrical with the door and everything. It'd sit, the holes in the wall would sit outside the sign, but we're not going to let that bother us, right? Right? We wouldn't change it. Should we change it? We'll leave it as it is. Let's cinematically once again head inside, and the first thing that we are going to do in here is make a bench. So we'll have a couple of mangrove stairs just behind this window with composters either side, and we will place ferns inside the composters until it is fully grown, just like this. And then we'll place pots with ferns on top of the composters. Perfect. We then want to make a bunch of seating, so we place stripped oak wood here, and here, and here, and here, just like this. We then extend the stripped oak woods upwards like this, and outwards. We add polished black stone stairs along the insides of the stripped oak wood. The outer stripped oak wood, we will only be able to place one set of stairs, and then we will place oak slabs extending from the wall outwards like this in between all of the tables, and we are going to add a bit of lighting in the form of a chain hanging down. I guess it's just one chain in this position, and it will be, I don't know why this is so hard to see. I think it's the stairs that's throwing me off. Essentially, the chains and lanterns will line up with the edge of the stripped oak wood. So, again, this is messing me up for some reason, but I think I'm placing it in the right place. Yeah, okay, that's looking good. And then we want to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Oh, I also want to place some paintings in the middle of these walls as well. I'd like the 2x1s, only for the size. I don't actually like the contents of the painting. I guess it kind of does. I mean, this one kind of just like sort of fit the vibe, but do we want the same one on both sides? Yes, we do. Okay, Pinocchio for both. Everybody gets Pinocchio. So now that we have added the 2 paintings on both sides here, we have to make the payment area. I always struggle with what is this thing? The till area, the cash area, place where you get the stuff area. What do we call this? Regardless, we want to begin by placing a row of polished andesite against this wall, and then we want to leave a gap of 1 here and place a row of blue concrete in front of the andesite. We will then place brewing stands along the andesite, some flower pots. We'll place item frames on the exposed bricks here, levers and tripwire hooks above the brewing stands. We may even choose to add, not that. We may even choose to add a couple of paintings just like this to look like menu items. Stairs here to look like a cash register. Maybe another item frame here, a couple of flower pots. You could go crazy and add food in these, or just leave them blank because you want to preserve your inventory space for the tutorial. You do you. Heading into the kitchen now, we will first of all add a rather large fridge, so a 2x2 square of block of iron with iron doors in front. We will then place a couple of blast furnaces and a couple of regular furnaces. We might have to reduce one of these, so we'll have just one regular furnace and we'll place black carpet on top of the blast furnaces. We will then place an item frame on top of here with a polished andesite stair just above here. We then want to add a couple of polished andesite just extending in a corner like this with a cauldron next to it. Then we are simply just going to add like a couple of flower pots here, leather, tripwire hook, maybe some item frames on the wall, maybe add some paper just about the place. Again, do feel free to add food if you like, but just for the sake of inventory space. I'm also going to reduce the ceiling space inside here as well. So I'm just going to use block of iron like this. Then I'm going to remove these two central blocks and replace these with sea lanterns. And this is about as difficult as the kitchen needs to get. A tripwire hook above the sink though would definitely be a good idea. And yeah, that's kind of it. And that is the tutorial complete. However, this video is not over. We must now add Ihop into our city. You know what, guys? We're going to be a little bit different. We are going to add Ihop near the new suburbs. We will create a brand new street. Ihop is going to be the first build on the street, and it's just going to be placed outside of the suburbs. I think it's going to find a good home here. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Click that little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. If you would like to make anything else by me, please check the description below for the mini city builds playlist. We have over 100 builds in there for you to enjoy. Alternatively, the sidebar, hopefully the next upcoming video, YouTube, or just check the channel. Consider becoming a channel member today and you will gain access to a cool avatar next to your name, some unique emojis, and access to my mini city design world containing every single build that has been added to Mini City to date. This is well over 100 builds, all chronologically ordered. Java edition only. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.